Good morning. So today is the day that I need to tackle what is one of possibly the biggest problems with our King Amusement Company rocket ride restoration. This is something that I have been pushing off into the corner for a very long time. And truthfully, it's probably been a mistake because I just wanted to see some progress happening. But this one item is something that's actually so severe that it could bring a stop to the whole project. So it probably was a bit of a mistake to push it off this long. You know, maybe we've done a whole lot of work that's not going to mean anything if we can't fix this one problem. So today, we're going to start tackling that. What we need to look at are what I'm calling the sweep stubs. These are the pipes that stick out of the crown of the ride. They support the sweeps and basically the entire weight of the ride, and they're really rusty. Well, that didn't go as planned. Alright, so I've had the evaporust resting in this tube for about 24 hours now. We're going to pour it out and try to pour it out anyways. See what we got. Yeah, it's still pretty rusty in there. So these are brushes that I ordered to clean the inside of the tubing, but I thought it was just a single brush. I did not realize it was a quantity of 10 brushes. Oh well, that's fine. We can use them. So my plan here is to go ahead and use this wire brush that I got and clean these out. But what I need to do is make a holder for this to give me some length, and if I could even chuck this in my drill, that would be great. So I think all I need to do is take a piece of rod, drill a hole in it, put this in, use a set screw to hold it, and we should have a rather effective way of cleaning out the inside of these pipes. Good enough. Oh, wow. I think the surface area of the inside of that tube is greater than what the volume of evaporust inside the tube can treat. So the evaporust ends up turning completely black long before all the rust is dissolved. So what I've got here is a little pump and a container. I'm going to fill this container with the evaporust, and then we're going to pump it up and let it continually recirculate and see if that will take care of our rust situation for us. So I need to find an extension cord to plug this in, and I need to get a couple gallons of evaporust to pour in here. I think that is the desired goal right there. Just gonna let that run, see what happens. Alright, this little experiment that I'm doing here seems to be working, but it's very slow. In order to speed this process up, I have gone and I've purchased 2 more pumps. I'm going to put 3 of these stubs sticking up. That way I can be filling 3 at a time. And I've also got 2 more gallons of evaporust to pour into this bin. And I think with those changes, I think we're going to increase our speed here a little bit, get this project moving a little bit faster. Alright, we got 3 pumps going in there like some sort of evil mad geniuses trying to bring something to life or something, I don't know. So my little babbling brook of rust removal has been running here for several days now, and it's doing a pretty nice job. I think it's just about time to shut her down, and then we can evaluate exactly what we got going on here. So the Evapo-Rust, along with the wire brush, did a really good job of cleaning these up, but it revealed exactly how rusty they are. I'm a little bit concerned about how much deterioration has happened to these stubs and the resultant wall thickness and what it is. Of course, the company is long out of business, so there's no guidance from them to tell us, hey, it can get this thin before it's a problem. And there doesn't seem to be any visible way to get those pipes out of the larger tube. I think they were probably welded in from maybe one spot before being welded to this whole assembly. So I'm not quite sure what to do there. The only thing I have thought of is I have some 1-inch steel rod, and I could cut these to length and epoxy them in place into the tubes. Now this rod, the tensile strength of this is actually almost the same as what the pipe originally was. So if this were to be epoxied in there, then we'll have something that should be at least as strong, if not even stronger, than what the original was. I'm kind of going to go down that path for a while and see how that pans out for us. So I've got my steel rods all cut to length, cleaned up, and ready to glue in, and we've got the epoxy, except I'm just not sold on doing it this way. It just doesn't feel right. I really would prefer a way where I can get those old tubes out completely and just replace them, but without cutting the entire thing apart, I just can't see how that's going to happen. And the one thing I keep telling myself is the way that those stubs are in there, they're on almost a complete compressive load. It's the ride actually hangs from another support, and those are really just positioning, but it just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to do what I don't want to do, push that part of the whole process back into the corner again and move on to something else here. So if you have any ideas for me about how I might be able to get those apart, throw your ideas down in the comments, or even if it's to say, hey, go ahead and just glue them in. Let me hear that too. So we brought a dumpster in to do some cleanup around the house, and I decided that I had probably taken enough dimensions off of the pieces of the ride that it was safe to get rid of the old ride cars. I've also been in talks with a local laser cutting firm, and it looks like we might have the new cars laser cut for us, which is really going to be great. It's going to make for basically perfect shaped cars and very little waste of material. I'll have more about that in a future video. Stand it up.
You have to take this side off.
I gotta get this whole thing apart. Get this tarp put under here in some means of trying to catch at least some of this so we can reuse it. Not sure exactly where to put this. Something like that. Now, this is the blasting media that Tractor Supply sells, and I've heard it's not bad if you filter it first. Get some screening in here, pour some through and see what it looks like. Well, so far I haven't seen any signs of clumps. There is not much of anything in there that I'm seeing. So I got the tower about 75% sandblasted before I ran out of daylight, and ever since then it's been either raining or 95 degrees outside, neither of which are conducive to me sandblasting it. So I've had it covered up, and fortunately been checking on it. It's not flash rusting. Happy about that. If you want to see where this project goes next, click that link to the left and come along for the ride.